Today, we're going to take a look at what goes into making the perfect DJ controller.
Attention to any DJs listening. Here we go. Sit your ass down and take notes. Cause the man is on the turntables. DJ Roubo.
Earlier this week, I was talking with a friend about different controllers. He's looking to upgrade. And we started talking about some of the current frustrations we have with the controllers that are out. And so we started to put together a list of what would go into the perfect DJ controller. For me, I think there are seven components that would make the perfect controller. Number one, no laptop. Yes, I think you need a laptop to prep your music, to do your loops, your cue points, to do your beat gridding. But I don't think that it should be a requirement that you need to have a laptop in order to be a DJ. Especially these days, you can store, thousands of songs, upwards of 7,000 songs on a 128 gig flash drive. So I don't think that you need a laptop, and I don't want to be looking at a laptop in order to DJ. So that's the first thing. The second thing is it needs to be an all-in-one system. Right now, one of the controllers I have is the Tractor S8. And it is a fantastic controller, but I am absolutely not gonna lie, it drives me insane that there's no jog wheels. There's nothing to, control the flow of the music. Yes, it has a touch strip, but it's still painful to get around within your song. So and I also, if you look at some other DJs, that even have higher end systems, they still end up buying accessories to go with their mixer or their controllers. So the perfect controller needs to be an all-in-one system that just works. Then the second thing is I believe that it needs to have turntable-like functionality. To me, the highest level of being a DJ is turntablism. And you can take a look at any of the Red Bull 3-style videos that come out every year to show you the level of creativity that comes out using this system. Now, that's not to say that you can't use CDJs. They're great, and obviously a lot of the high-end DJs, especially the ones that are on, say, the DJ Mag 100, they all use CDJs. But I think that the highest form of being a DJ requires having some sort of vinyl or control vinyl. So in my system, you might not have a 12-inch platter, but you would have maybe a 6-inch or a 7-inch platter that would spin just and have high torque like a turntable. Now, in the system that I've actually built, it has two ways to do this. There's one where the vinyl spins and it feels like spinning a record, but then you can also turn it into CDJ mode, which gives you the ability that the motor doesn't spin, but gives you the ability to nudge tracks and to search through tracks and things like that using your CDJ or the jog wheel. So having that flexibility means, well, if you're not a turntablist, you don't need that. Just turn it on the CDJ and it functions just like a CDJ. If you want the ability to scratch, then you just turn that onto a turntable, and there you go. You can, it's all built in. So the third thing for me is it has to have some sort of vinyl control system. And then I'm not a huge fan of needles and things like that. They're kind of a pain in the ass to set up. So obviously in this system, we do away with that. That's 3, turntable. 4, you need a built-in screen, obviously. If you have a laptop, then that gives you the ability to see your waves, to set up your beat grids, to browse for tracks, and kind of see what's happening within the waveform itself. You can see where the drops are coming, the climaxes, and things like that. So you need that ability in an all-in-one controller. So we have a screen in ours. And then ideally, it would be a touch screen, which a lot of the controllers with screens now are not. So that's number 4, a built-in screen. Number 5 is it needs to have pads, and then typically, or ideally, they would be 8 pads. These pads would give you the ability to trigger things like your cue points, your loops, any kind of pad effects. You can freeze a track. So you can say, hey, I want 8-beat freeze or slice. It basically slices up the loop into 8 parts. And then on your pad, you can play, each part, which can be really slick. And then obviously the pads could also be used to trigger various samples. So minimally 8 pads are kind of a requirement. And in this particular system, you will be able to pick, hey, yep, I want cue points, I want pad effects, I want slicing, or I want samples. And it's very easy. It needs to be number 6. It needs to have 4 channels. Yes, you can do quite a bit with 2 channels, but 4 channels gives you so much flexibility. And in that, each channel can be used in a multitude of ways. One would be to trigger your song or your MP3. You can trigger something or use something that's external, even though it's an all-in-one controller. You would have the ability to, if you needed another 2 jog wheels or CDJs, you could connect those in, and a channel could be used for that. A channel could be used for, there could be a sample player on a particular channel, so you set it to that channel and then it's a sampler. 4 channels gives you lots of flexibility. Most of the higher end controllers these days come with 4 channels, so we make sure that we have that in our controller. And then lastly, it has built-in effects. I don't want to have to go to the laptop and configure all my effects. I wanted this to be like an instrument where I sit down at it and I begin to play. And in our incarnation, I want to make sure that all of my effects are built into the system. They're easy to access. They're easy to configure. So there's that. Those would be the seven major components, I think, that would make this the perfect DJ controller. A couple of other things just of note. I've set this up so that obviously you have 2 turntable/jog wheels on each side. You can configure the first one for the first channel and the third channel, and the one on the right would be for your second and fourth, and you'd be able to pick your deck. That's pretty easy. That the tempo fader has a long throw, so it's very easy to dial in your tempo or your BPM, which I find very critical. Again, if I go back to my Tractor S8, you have to turn a knob in order to get to the right BPM or the right tempo, and sometimes that's a pain in the butt. I would say if I were to add one other thing to this and make a number 8, is I would make this affordable. Obviously, I've made this with Pioneer gear, which I have used in the past, and Pioneer makes a fantastic DJ product. But you absolutely pay for that. I think when I bought my CDJ 2000 Nexuses when they came out, they were $2,000 a piece. That's super expensive. So if there would be some way to get this system built and under $2,000, that would be a phenomenal value. So that 8 is optional, but would be super helpful. Well, that's it. I'd be interested to hear in the comments what kind of things you think are important for a perfect controller. Are you okay with having the laptop? Am I missing something by not including that as part of my requirements? Do you like the idea of turntables / CDJ or jog wheels? Yeah, in the comments, I'll be interested to see what people say about my system. If you like this video, please hit the like button, please comment, and more importantly, please subscribe. Lots more great content is coming your way. Cheers.